Am I the asshole for announcing my preganacy at my sister's wedding? I'm 32, my sister is 28, and we've always been incredibly close. Point in case, she was the first person I told that I was pregnant, besides my husband of course. I told her essentially a week after I got a positive pregnancy test, which was about 3 months before her wedding. I told her that I was going to tell our parents and my husband's parents around the 10-week mark, but she told me that I should hold off until her wedding in September. I'd be like 4 months along at that point, so I wouldn't be showing really, and she thought it would be so special for her to be able to make an announcement about a special guest at her wedding, and it be her first niece or nephew, and my parents' first grandbaby. I agreed, because it seemed like it meant a lot to her and, again, we were super close and I was happy to do that for her. Turns out, the first trimester was awful with morning sickness and exhaustion. I would have preferred to be able to talk about it with my mom, but I was willing to grin and bear it for my sister's wedding. Well, the wedding came along, and about halfway through the night, I asked her when the announcement was happening. She told me that she had changed her mind and that her wedding didn't seem like a good time or place to announce my pregnancy. I was obviously super upset since I went through a really awful first trimester with only my sister and husband to lean on. I decided I wasn't going to put the announcement on hold any longer just for her, so my husband and I pulled my parents aside and quietly told them to keep it private for the evening. They were thrilled, lots of hugs, a few tears, but a very touching and private moment. Literally no one else found out until I announced it on Facebook a week later. My sister found out around the same time as my Facebook post when my dad mentioned how we told him about it, and she texted me and called me a bitch who made her wedding about myself, and she hasn't spoken to me since. I've messaged her and apologized probably a dozen times since then, but she refuses to talk to me. And now she refuses to come see her little nephew who is almost a month old at this point. My parents and partner think I did nothing wrong since she went back on her word, and that I should just wait it out and she'll come around. I'm obviously unsure as clearly this has made her so upset with me, and we were so close before. Am I the asshole? Edit. I've seen a lot of comments saying that I was trying to be petty, mean, vindictive, spiteful, hurt my sister, etc. And I just wanted to address that really quickly. If I had been any of those things, I would have made sure she found out that I had done it, you know? She just happened to find out a week later because my dad let it slip. I just desperately wanted to tell my mom, and after waiting over 2 months for my sister, it really felt like I couldn't wait another moment at the whims of someone who wasn't even involved in the pregnancy. I understand now though that I definitely should not have waited to tell my mom about the pregnancy. Hindsight is 20/20 and all that. Man, people really take the whole wedding day is only about the bride thing to a whole new level. Only the grandparents found out about the pregnancy. It didn't eclipse the wedding day at all. Not the asshole. Not the asshole because you told them discreetly after your sister played an obvious trick on you. Clearly, it didn't even make an impact on the wedding because it took her being told it happened to even be aware of it. I don't think she ever intended to make that announcement. She just didn't want attention taken away from her while she planned her wedding where she did a really nasty rug pull. She essentially denied you of much needed support during a very touchy time so her special day remained front and center. I think your sister never intended to announce it at her wedding. She didn't want it overshadowing her wedding if you announced it before she got married. Not the asshole. I was all set to say YTA but not the asshole you wanted to tell your parents. Your sister insisted on you waiting to make it a moment at her wedding. Then, last minute she changes her mind. So you tell your parents privately, you didn't make a big announcement. Now she's mad and won't talk to you? Stop apologizing, you did nothing wrong. ETA. Thanks for the award. Not the asshole. She never had the intention of making an announcement, she just didn't want your pregnancy taking her spotlight before the wedding. Am I the asshole for refusing to miss some of my kids' events when my ex-wife's husband asked? I share 2 kids, Indy, 10 male, and Colby, 8 female, with my ex-wife Thora. We have remained very close and she and I don't follow a strict parenting plan. We do our best to have the kids see us both as much as possible. We celebrate every birthday, every Christmas together, and we show up to support our kids together as much as we can make work with our jobs. Our families are also still very tight. The kids love it. Sometimes it will be my parenting time but they want Thora and so they spend that day with her, or vice versa. Works so well for the kids. Thora married Michael in November 2021. He and I got along in the beginning. He clearly loved Thora and was great with the kids, which is what Thora and I cared most about. But then this past summer some things changed with Michael. An example is Indy was singing and playing an instrument at this little talent show his summer camp set up. Thora and I both went, so did Michael, who took the day off work. Michael did not look happy to see me, and once Thora was not within earshot or sightline, he was visibly tense, and I swear he groaned at some point near me. Then Thora had to go out of state to see a friend of hers who was very sick. The kids chose to stay with me, and I don't believe Michael was happy about that. I tried to ask him about it, but he swore things were fine. In November, Indy and Colby had a busy month with different standout things within extracurriculars and school. I was lucky enough to attend 9/10 of them, with Thora attending 8/10. Michael got to attend 3/10. All three were ones I could attend, and it felt very much like he didn't want me there. Late last month, when Michael and I were the ones attending a school function for the kids, that he asked me to show up to less of the kids' events and let him and Thora do some of that stuff with the kids as a family. I told him they already do. He said not when I'm around. That I am getting in the way of him being a parental figure for the kids. I told him he was a parental figure and the kids love him. He said they will never consider us equal until they see him instead of me at some of these events. He said it's important for the more stable family unit of 4. I told him I was not willing to miss the kids' events. He did not take it well and accused me of interfering and alienating their chances of a family unit. He texted me after the event with things he wanted me to miss, including Indy's elementary school graduation in May. I told him it was not happening. He told me Thora wanted this too. Thora knew nothing of this and told me the kids would be so upset if we did what Michael wanted, which I knew also. She was angry at Michael. Michael is angry at me still. He called me an asshole. I don't want to believe I'm an asshole, but I know this is not the norm for every divorced parent situation, and it makes me ask if I am the asshole for not letting them have some of those events, just them. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. You and your ex are doing everything you can to put your kids first. Don't let this guy's insecurities get in the way of that. You are even in agreement that he shouldn't get to decide how the two of you are co-parenting. Not the asshole, he doesn't get to tell you, their biological father, to leave room for he who has only been around a couple of years. State of him asking you to step aside from being a present father. He's an asshole. And lying to you about what your ex said shows him to be a liar too. Manipulating his way to you being a less present father? Yikes. Definitely not the asshole. They will never consider him equal to you because he is not. You are their father, and he is their stepfather. He should not have married Thora if he could not handle that role. Not the asshole. He is trying to edge you out as dad, and he can't do that when you are so involved. Good job, Op. You are a good dad. So, he wants you to sacrifice time with your kids, including special events, so his ego is at peace? Even if it did make you the a-hole, would you sacrifice that time with your kids for Michael? Is Michael that important to you? Michael needs to know his lane and stay in his lane. Am I the asshole for staying in contact with my son's ex-wife and her daughter after their divorce? My son Henry divorced his wife Rachel a year ago. Their divorce wasn't exactly messy, but it wasn't easy either. I stay in contact with Rachel for my granddaughter Sake. My granddaughter is 9 years old, and Rachel also has another daughter, Amy, 3 years older than my granddaughter, who is not my son's child. She was from a past relationship Rachel had. Now the thing is, Amy grew up calling me grandma for pretty much her whole life. I treated her exactly the same as I did my biological granddaughter. I would always take candy for both of them, give them both a little bit of pocket money. I hugged and loved, and still do love, Amy as much as I do my granddaughter. As far as I'm aware, she's my second granddaughter. When my son and his wife divorced, I stayed in contact with his now ex-wife to contact my granddaughter, and Amy has her own mobile phone. I also have her phone number and stay in contact with her occasionally. She still calls me grandma as well. I didn't think this would be a problem, however last week when it was Amy's birthday, I gave Rachel some money to buy her a present from me. She was thankful, bought her a gift, wrapped it and sent me a picture of her opening it. Later that day, my son came round to visit me and my phone rang. It was Amy calling to say thank you for her birthday present. My son told me he found it inappropriate for me to be talking to his ex-wife and her daughter, when she's not my granddaughter. He said I have absolutely no reason to be in contact with either of them as I see my biological granddaughter regularly, and that she's the only one who is family, so his ex-wife and Amy, who are no longer family, have no reason for me to be in contact with them. I disagree, as I only speak to Rachel about my granddaughter and I speak to Amy as for the last 10 years. I've been treating her exactly the same as my biological granddaughter. I feel it would be unfair now to no longer have contact with her after so long. Am I the asshole for staying in contact with them both? I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I never discuss my son with either of them, I just simply check in and see how they are. Not the asshole. He has been in the girl's life for 10 years and he's not staying in touch and doesn't seem to care or worry about her. That should be the issue here. Be careful he doesn't decide to not let you see your other granddaughter just because he doesn't agree with you. Not the asshole. This reminds me of the "you divorce wives not kids" line from Clueless. Not the asshole. In fact, you are wonderful. I am reminded of a quote by the illustrious Mel Horowitz, father of Cher, from the movie, Clueless. You divorce wives, not children. Not the asshole, and I think it's great what you do. You are her grandma and that's it. Not the asshole. You are doing grandparenting right. A relationship breakdown between parents doesn't need to splinter the entire family. With a 9-year-old granddaughter, I am guessing that you have been a grandmother to Amy for 10 years. That's a whole lot of time to form a bond that goes beyond a casual relationship. Your son is being selfish, thinking that his anger towards his ex is more important than your love for the children. He cannot tell you to change your priorities. I understand that your son is hurting, but you are only demonstrating love for the kids. Am I the asshole for refusing to switch rooms because Sil is pregnant? I, 33 male, live with my wife, 31 male, and my 8-year-old son Mal. Mal has cerebral palsy and is bound to a wheelchair. Our home is inconvenient to us because it has 2 stories, but it was left to my wife from her father and we don't have the money to move. My wife and I and Mal have the downstairs bedrooms due to Mal's cerebral palsy. This past week my brother and Sil came to stay with us while visiting. Sil is 7 months pregnant. I had previously discussed that all the guest bedrooms were upstairs. When Sil asked us where their rooms are, she was shocked and asked if I expected her to walk up all those stairs. I said jokingly I'd hope so, because that's where your rooms are. My brother got upset and said he thought I had changed the room plan to downstairs because of Sil's condition. I told them no, there was no extra bedrooms downstairs. Then they suggested I swap rooms with them just for a few days. My wife instantly refused. Mal has hearing loss due to his cerebral palsy and takes his hearing aids out at night and can only hear some noises, and we just didn't feel safe. What if someone broke in, God forbid? What if he fell out of bed? We told them no, we weren't comfortable with that. Sil got upset and said why would we let them stay there, and that pregnant people really aren't supposed to go upstairs, and that I was overreacting and that they would still hear if anything happened with Mal. I refused again and they called us inconsiderate and went to stay with my mom. Maybe I am a worrybody, but this is our system and I did warn my brother beforehand. Since when are pregnant women not to go upstairs? WTF, not the asshole. What? Pregnant women aren't supposed to go upstairs? That's bull. I live in a 3-level house and all the bedrooms are upstairs. I've also had 2 pregnancies and have 3 kids here. Sil is just lazy tears of joy. Not the asshole. Apparently generations have died that I don't know about because of mothers going upstairs. Edit. Thanks for the award. It's my first. Pregnant people really aren't supposed to go upstairs. What? She's pregnant. She's not a horse. Not the asshole. Pregnant women can climb stairs. You told them ahead of time the guest bedrooms were upstairs and they didn't comment or clarify further. Before visiting, your brother and Sil didn't ask or make special requests. Changing bedrooms would put your son's health in danger. And ultimately, when you're a guest in someone's home, you accept what they offer you kindly and say thank you or say sorry, that doesn't work for me, and find your own accommodations. Not the asshole.